Hey everybody, welcome to our June newsletter. And before we get started with our marketing update, I am going to talk about May. I mean, we started out, some of May was great weather. We had some pretty crappy weather, but we still had fun. We celebrated Mother's Day. We had some signs if you were a past client or a referral partner that we put in your yards, and we just had so much fun as a team doing that. And we also had fun volunteering as a team at Community Thread. We like to give back to our community as much as we can. But let's talk about the market. And when we talk about the market, we love talking to Stephanie, our resident expert in all things, the numbers and looking back and year to date. And are we in a bubble? What is low inventory doing to our market? And is there a crash coming? So let's talk about all the things happening in the market: inflation, interest rates, bubbles, all that good
panic,
stuff.
bubble panic.
Yeah. Unwarranted panic.
Yeah, you know, we're in an age of, I think we go to extremes, and extreme concern and worry, and I guess rightly so because of the previous housing crash. But that's probably one of the most common questions I get asked. I'm sure you get asked, are we
constantly
in a bubble? When's it going to crash? When's it going to crash? You know, but what I always say is let's base our decisions on information that's real,
Right.
not water cooler talk,
Not just the headlines.
not just the water cooler where, oh my God, it's just going to crash. I'm going to pick up something then.
Don't we?
Because it's just not the same situation. We're in a different world. So many things are different. People have more home equity in their homes.
A lot.
The lending standards are completely different because of that last crash. I mean, people who are qualified to buy are truly qualified to buy now, whereas in the past it was a lot looser. And you know what? We actually have a real demand for homes. This is not a artificial demand. We are short on inventory. We are short on homes.
And that's not going to clear up in a month or two.
No. And if anything, as I keep tracking these statistics, our month supply, it's just, if anything, it's maybe a little bit down, a little bit up, depending on the market.
Yeah.
Because for 10 years we didn't build. For 10 years, you know, builders went out of business. You know, that crash really hit us hard, and I don't think we knew the long-term effects of that.
Yeah, especially like you're saying, in new construction, you don't just build a house in a day. It takes a long time to get up and going again. So.
No, and then of course you compound that by the COVID and the supply chain issue.
Yeah.
So we are desperately in need of homes to sell. With that said, the number of new listings, big surprise, down. You know, we're tracking 3 markets. Of course, I look at other markets.
Right.
We're looking at what happens on the East and West Coast too, because that kind of predicts what's going to happen here. Phoenix is a great market to look at, for example. But new listings are down. We're looking at Lake Elmo, Stillwater, Hudson School District. Is that a surprise? Not really, because it's kind of continuing what we're seeing.
And what I like about the combination of those 3 is Lake Elmo has so much new construction.
Yes.
It does give us kind of a good, you know, segment.
Yeah, yep. And Hudson was nice about that. The market, we look at the school district of Hudson because it's such a big market. The stats are a little bit more reliable in my mind because there's so many homes that are bigger. Yep. So
what do we have for numbers?
So what we have for numbers. So our numbers sold are down in 2 markets this May compared to last May. Slightly up in Hudson. Average sale prices are up across the board. Not a big surprise, but anywhere from 3 to 44%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, for example, Lake Elmo was at 3%, shooting to 637 from previous May. Stillwater went from 443 to 601. That was the big leap. Wow. So I think that was some new construction in there. And then Hudson School District is 465 to 513. So that's a 10% jump.
Right.
Is that a big surprise? It continues the 3-year trend. Prices are up because listings are down. There's also, I think, you know, the rising interest rates are pushing people out that fence.
Right.
Or maybe loosening their criteria a little bit. Maybe my must-have is moving down to I can live without.
Yeah, I know. We're seeing that. They're kind of tightening up not only financially what they can look at, but kind of what their expectations
Well, they might
are.
look at different areas, they might look at lower the price point, they might look, okay, I can paint that room versus it being, or I can put carpet in at some point or something like that.
Right.
I mentioned new listings down. The days on market were up and down, which is interesting. I think we're seeing in Lake Elmo and Stillwater, they were up slightly. So could that mean that we're seeing less cash buys? Possibly, maybe more financed offers are being accepted.
You and I, though, have talked about this probably the last few months about sellers overpricing their homes.
Yes. Yep.
And, you know, us realtors, we give them our, you know, this is what we think you're at. And sometimes they're push because people are going over.
Right.
And I think that's part of those days on market too. We're also seeing more price adjustments than we've seen.
That has picked up.
In like a year.
Yes, that has picked up quite a bit. And most people don't know that we can see a stat every day that shows how many price reductions or expired listings that come on the market, and that has definitely increased. So that's indicative. Yeah. That's indicative of people maybe pushing that price point a little bit.
And thinking they don't have to have their houses really ready to sell and presentation worry and still can get that top
honestly.
dollar.
I mean, the concept that you can put anything on the market and ask for any price you want is probably wrong.
It is wrong. I mean,
because there still has to be value, right? There has to be.
Well, and when a buyer comes in, we're kind of getting off topic here, but when a buyer comes in and they know they're going to pay at or above asking, they expect certain things. So let's give it to them.
Yeah, so let's give it to them.
Back on track.
You know, it's just it's a story of supply and demand. I mean, like I mentioned, days in market up and down. You know, I also looked at May, April, March, this just past months.
Yeah.
And it just reflects what we saw year to year. The jumps are a little bit less so because we're month to month, but we don't see anything changing the trajectory in the next several months.
No.
If anything, it would probably be next year.
But it's not going to go this way.
No.
And it's not even going to level off.
No.
It's just going to slow the trajectory.
Yeah, it's not a bubble crash. It's more going to be a slight adjustment and maybe just like a settling down a little bit.
Right.
We talked about this too, that the serious buyers are, I think, even more intensely serious. And, you know, people who kick the can, you know, maybe they did go away or they're kind of watching, but we still need homes.
With interest rates going up, I think we do have buyers that are now saying, I don't want it to continue to go up. I want to get in the market now. And we have sellers saying, I don't want to lose buyers because they leave the market, so let's get our house ready. So I think that's where we're seeing the easing of the craziness.
And just speaking personally, I've had clients who wanted to, do we need to move faster? You know, that's the question. How fast do we need to move? Well, you know,
as fast as you can.
As fast as you can.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.